back, Bourbon Barkeep, Curtis.
Noah, great to be here, man.
We have quite the pour tonight.
We do, yeah. It's your birthday, or yesterday, but it's really a week-long celebration.
Absolutely.
As you deserve. So,
As it should.
yeah, have some good juice tonight, as you like to say. Some Russell's 13. Neither you nor I have ever tried this.
Yes.
And have been looking forward to.
So tonight, today, this morning, whenever you're watching, it's kind of a BOGO episode. So we have essentially a tasting of the Russell's 13. This is a 2023 batch. And then the next one, since we are new to the whiskey tube, if you will, we are also doing a throwback to 2021.
Okay.
Where it was Reddit's challenge of you only need 5 whiskey bottles, but our take will be 2023 version.
Sure.
So everything else is out of date at this point.
Right.
So really pioneering once again.
That's
what we do here.
Trailblazers, yeah.
Absolutely. So do you want to give the people, I mean, this is your bottle. Would you like to introduce her to the people of America? The world, if you will?
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. So you guys have obviously heard of the Russell's 10, which is a very popular everyday bottle you can find pretty much anywhere, which will be making an appearance here shortly with our second segment as a little bit of a
spoiler,
a little cliffhanger there. Yeah,
sure. People want to know, where does he fit into Russell's?
But yeah, so this is the 13-year version. It's much more expensive. It's much harder to find.
So much harder.
And I mean, other than that, that's non-chilled filtered. The proof, let me make sure I'm correct when this, 114.8. I was going to say 118.4, and I knew that was wrong.
Give me some juice there.
So 114.8. Yeah, so it's a little spicy. I'm expecting great things, really.
I'm expecting smooth and viscous.
Yes.
And outside of that, I got nothing.
Sure.
All right.
Shall we?
Absolutely. Cheers the beautiful Bourbon Barkeep.
That's right.
To you all.
Good looking.
Thanks for showing up to my birthday party.
Had a good day, huh?
Everybody was invited.
Had a good day?
Oh, wow. That is raspberry.
I was going to say like a raspberry, like a cherry cheesecake is what I was going to say, but I get the raspberry too.
I'm going like raspberry jello. Like very sugary on the nose. That is not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, there's like a creaminess, like you said, with the raspberries. So like that's where I'm getting that cheesecake flavor from.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Like there's a definite richness to it, to where I was expecting, I wouldn't say a punch of oak. I mean, it's still 13 years old, but kind of have to dig a little bit, but there's a really nice sweet oak behind the raspberry.
You got to power through that raspberry, huh? All right. Enough chit chat.
Please. I love this nose though.
Wow.
She likes it.
Wow. That raspberry's definitely still there, but there's like kind of a charredness to it now. That oak comes way more on the palate than in the nose.
I get a little bit more, maybe pie crust. I don't know if I would go as sweet as graham cracker, but like a pie crust. It just sits in the back of my tongue, and it is.
Is it the viscosity that you're looking for?
It's not red, like it's not, I wouldn't say it's coating, but it is just sitting like a kettleball.
Kettlebell?
Well, they're balls, so I thought it was a kettleball.
Well, it's a kettlebell.
Obviously, I'm well versed in the gym.
That's fine, man. It's fine.
I love this nose. I do start to get, it's starting to open up to kind of like getting behind the raspberry, still there, still get that creaminess, that sweet oak, caramel, obviously. And now there's kind of going to like a nice citrus. I mean, just an incredible nose.
It's like they cook down the raspberry. There's like a smokiness. There's smokiness to the raspberry.
It's like they smashed down the raspberries and put it into a charred barrel for 13 years. And then
Maybe that's literally just what they did. Yeah.
Here's what we got. You could tell it uncut, so it's going to stay there. And then as it kind of sits in the mouth and develops, it changes into much more wood. I don't know if I would go full oak, like that sweet oak that's on the nose. It gets into maybe your more char, but maybe like a mahogany.
Wow, nice. Sure, fancy.
Yeah, I blanked out on other
just
word.
kind of screams wealth.
I knew it wasn't maple. Yeah, it's definitely the mahogany. Though,
sure.
Because of that.
Well, should we grade?
We should grade. This will be our first grade that doesn't qualify for Whiskey of the Year.
Because it's 2023.
I have a great feeling that this would be very high in our rankings.
I would agree.
What would be nice is if it hit our top 10 and then you have to revisit just to make sure it's still maybe
Would
top
hate
five.
to revisit. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So new grading scale. Instead of going through all the categories, you'll just do your editing magic, I would assume, and
Yeah.
show the people what it is.
Yeah, so we have a kind of new scoring scale, if you will, as well as a more refined, streamlined 2 categories we're kind of basing our scores on. And that is our senses, which is kind of the all-encompassing, how much do we like the bourbon? The nose, the palate, the finish, all that stuff. That's senses. And then we have bang for the buck as well. We want to make sure we take price into account. You and I find that to be relatively important when we're buying bottles. So making sure we do emphasize, this bottle's $300, it's great, but we kind of need to knock its block off a little bit because it was $300.
Absolutely.
And then we have a new kind of report card, if you will. I don't know if you want to say report card, but the final score that we do have is going to fall into one of 8 categories.
There's someone out there that just like twitched at report card. Like,
Sure.
"Go bring it back."
So yeah, the number we come up with is going to fall into one of 8 categories, and that's flashed on the screen here, but I'm not going to walk through all those. But without further ado, man, senses, what do you have?
Boy, it's definitely to the great area for sure.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's how great or how fantastic.
Sure.
I'm going to go with man, this is really good. I'm going to go with a firm 87.
Okay. I was going to go 86.
It deserves to be a fantastic over a great. It is that good. The bang for the buck, I'm going to go with what it's commonly found at.
Okay.
So I think we've talked about this a few times. Is the SRP, I think it was 80 last year?
Yeah.
Impossible. Like it's just a no.
That's a made-up number for sure.
So even if we gave it credit at, what do you want to call secondary? 200?
I was going to go 150 to 180.
Okay. Typically what I try and do, and I feel like this is halfway accepted as well, is for every year you give it $10. Right?
Okay.
So Knob Creek being 180 at 18 years, you're like, okay, so probably a fair price. It's a long time to wait. So
Sure.
at 13, if you're at 130 and it's really this good, I would gladly pay 150 for this.
I'm completely fine with 150, and if you even want to go up to 180, I'm completely fine paying 180 for that.
So we said we'll go 180
Okay.
as the price. I would go at 50.
Okay. At 180,
I'm
yeah.
going to pull the trigger is the problem.
Yeah, 180, I'm going 55. Like, if you price that at $200, I'd say fair.
Okay.
So at 180, I'm like, okay, that's
So punches above its price even with the secondary market. That's frustrating to hear. Just because I would like it at MSRP.
yeah, it's not available for $80.
Alas.
It is what it is.
Yes. Part 2.
Yeah, part 2.
So rumor has it, and this does kind of go with how my mind works, is you only need 5 bottles. So although I have many bottles, I really struggle with trying to figure out what do I want to drink tonight.
I'm kind of with you in the sense that, like, if it's a Thursday night, I'm looking for a pour. It's like, it's not even the weekend. What's the everyday go-to bottle, which kind of leads us into our first category.
Please.
And that is everyday go-to pour,
Is it this?
It's not this.
Okay.
That would go pretty quick. So what I came up with for everyday go-to pour, and it wasn't going to be long before we brought this guy out, but
No.
the Russell's 10 is widely available, as I said earlier, looking at about $40, and it drinks so great. It's so easy to have, admittedly 2 or 3, just in like an hour and a half sitting watching a game or whatever.
Yeah.
And
It
like
is
I said,
crazy the color on this, to where I understand it's 3 more years, probably different barrels, but
much lighter.
that is so much lighter than what we
Much lighter.
just had.
But yeah, love Russell's 10. If you have never tried it, it's a great sub for your Buffalo Traces, as we discussed already as well.
Russell's, that's a great one. I did want to be different.
Okay.
So one of the things that is always very interesting is I watch all these other YouTubers and they're pulling out Bardstowns, maybe not as like they're every day, but they're pulling out brands that I've never seen because of distribution. So guess what? Although I wanted to be common and give people like choices, I'm going to go with something that we do.
Local.
Ben Holiday.
Yeah.
This one, our whiskey of the year, bang for the buck included, obviously. But I'm going to go Ben Holiday. They're picking up a ton of steam, but for a $50 bottle as kind of a get the party started. This is what I want. I don't want something high proof. This is 100, so it gives you a little something, but not a ton.
Sure. Great choice.
Ben Holiday, whiskey of the year.
Cheers. Yeah, great choice.
All right, so we had the get the party started. I was torn on the cocktail one. The cheap mixer, I was like, all right, depends on what you're making, because I'm kind of a cocktail guy.
Sure.
So if I'm doing like a whiskey sour, I don't want something very high proof, but I did pick something that still is just reliable. I know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's going to let the bourbon come through, but maybe not overpower as well.
Sure.
So I went Old Grandad 114. These were very hard to find, and now they are absolutely everywhere.
Yep.
At $27. I saw them on sale for $23. Were just absolutely ridiculous. But this one, if you're looking for that cheap mixer to make 4-6 drinks, regardless of whether they're bourbon forward or not, Old Grandad should have to be.
Great choice. I went similar route as you in terms of price. As you kind of said, you know, if you're making cocktails, you might be hosting, you know, you might be making 4, 6, 8 drinks, whatever it may be. So you do kind of want to keep price in mind. You don't want to be using an $80, $90 bottle, I wouldn't think. At least I don't use expensive bottles to make cocktails like that. But bourbon forward as well, I went with Wild Turkey 101. It does pack a little bit of punch, you know, more so than your 90 proof Buffalo Traces or even Eagle Rares or whatever. But yeah, so bourbon forward at 101 proof. Wild Turkey is such a consistent, likable flavor, and like I said, sub $25. I think it's $21.99. Is what I found this for. So you can buy 2 or 3 of these at a time and have a little, you know, hosting party. That's right. Get your tray out.
I would agree, and I would say your 101 proof may even be more on point than going up to that 114.
Yeah, 114 is probably nearing the top of what you, in terms of spice, in terms of heat that you want through a cocktail. But yeah, like you said, I'm a big bourbon forward, old fashioned type of guy, and that works wonderful with an old fashioned if you want, you know, still to maintain that whiskey flavor instead of the sweet flavor.
Oh, it'll bring you some whiskey flavor.
It'll be there. Yeah, it'll be there.
Sure.
All right, and that brings us into our third category, the Friday pour. So not necessarily special occasion, but you're kind of ringing in, you know, the weekend, maybe sit down, have, you know, maybe a little step up, you know, you feel good about what you accomplished this week,
or
your
maybe
achievements, or maybe you're drowning your sorrows. Yeah, it's been a rough week. Either one.
Maybe your kids are potty training.
Sure.
And you just got poop on your leg.
Yeah.
You're like, God, I can't wait until 7:05.
Sounds like you had a rough week, man. Yeah. But yes, it's generally not anywhere in the middle. It's a great week. You want to celebrate your accomplishments. Bad week, you want to kind of drown those away on a Friday evening. What's your pick?
So I went little Jack Daniel's barrel proof. I think it's something to where some of us don't have a ton of time to sit around and get a buzz over the course of 3 hours.
Sure.
So maybe we only have 1 or 2 pours. And guess what? You feel a little loose. Your problems went away. The poop's cleaned up. You don't smell it anymore.
Good.
Here we are. I knew what Jack Daniel's number 7 was. This is a completely different animal in a fantastic way.
Sure. Yeah. I have a bottle as well. Like you said, mine drinks a little bit hotter than I think yours does, just judging by our discussion about it. Not to say I don't like that. Obviously, we've talked about me liking hotter pours in general anyway.
You are a proof guy.
But yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. It's so kind of out of left field because, like you said, like my experience up until maybe this past year was Jack Daniel's 7, throw a Diet Coke on a Friday night on the town with your boys. Like that's my Jack Daniel's experience, and that is, like you said, completely different.
Classy, great looking bottle, and something that will make me feel a lot better.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly, yeah. Like you don't have to sit around for 3 hours.
No, that's the point sometimes.
So I picked 2 different bottles. I felt like there's a large discrepancy between summertime and wintertime bourbons when I'm talking about, hey, what do I want to pour on a Friday night? So I decided to just do both.
You double fist. It brings me so much joy.
Sure. So Eagle Rare, mentioned this a few minutes ago, a little bit tougher to find, but if you use the secondary online markets like Love Scotch, you know, generally load up 3 or 4 at a time, a couple times a year. It's so consistent. There's such a unique flavor to it. I don't really know how they accomplish that flavor, being it's only 90 proof. But they find a way to differentiate themselves, at least in my opinion. It's a gorgeous bottle. I mean, it screams America. So when you're looking 4th of July weekend, that Friday night, I mean, come on. So that's my summertime Friday pour.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not reaching for Eagle Rare or Horse Soldier on the 4th of July, I question your patriotism.
Sure, that's right. So wintertime, so right now, We've plugged these guys enough. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a relatively easy to find, I would think. At least most batches. There are some batches that come out that are a little bit tougher to get your hands on, but for the most part, you're able to pick up a few of these a year.
It sure seems like the C 2023 was
Tough.
rare in the sense of, I mean, we found the B batch everywhere.
Sure, you could have bought 20 B batches if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does kind of depend on the batch, but for the most part, you're able to pick up a few of these a year. Like we talked about, I mean, this is 133 proof. This is a very warm your tummy, only have a couple, and then you're going to bed at 10 o'clock type of bourbon. Some Friday nights, I do like that approach.
Most Friday nights, that is my approach.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I can relate.
But yeah, so that is the wintertime Friday pour. It's a little on the pricier side. You're looking at 80, 90 bucks MSRP, and that could be going up in the near future this year. So this isn't like a, hey, have it 3 times a week type of thing, but for a Friday pour, not crazy expensive.
There's not 3 Fridays.
Sure, relatively easy to find. So yeah, Eagle Rare, Elijah Craig barrel proof. Summertime, wintertime.
Yep.
Depends on the time of year, but those are my go-tos on the weekend.
Impress your guest.
Okay.
So this is one to where I kind of wrestled with this one because I'm like, do I like my guest? Does my guest know bourbon? I went with, I got a summer one.
Okay.
So I got guy coming over, or spring, but mainly summer. This one, barrel bourbon. This is a rye whiskey. It is finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels.
Wow.
And this thing drinks like I am on the beach in a better place.
Okay.
It is
So a little experimental with your guests, maybe.
unlike anything I've ever tried. And it's sweet enough and smooth enough to where they're not going to go, no thank you. But I can promise you when you are March and you pour this, it transports you
Sure.
to Jamaica.
Like the back half of the winter season where you're just craving that warm sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went with my winter one of Lucky 7. This is the Holiday Toast. I actually got this literally a couple days ago. Popped it open, and it transported me back to Christmas. This one's going to run you around 90. This one brings you all the spice, more bourbon taste rather than the finished taste. And it just put me right back into Christmas.
Cool.
So if I'm having a holiday party, this would be the one that, hey, this is fun.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
Thanks, man.
Sure. Yeah. Just make sure you knew. So my impress your guests, I went a similar route. Did not do seasonal, but my guest is someone who does know bourbon a little bit, enjoys bourbon. So I went with the Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch.
And this isn't impress your guest. This isn't, hey, this needs to be widely available. This
Sure.
is, hey,
This is like a
you will never get this bottle.
sure, and it's it's not like I want to open, like a $500 bottle.
Right.
Not to be, greedy and selfish, but you know how it goes.
Oh, I've noticed when you've hosted.
Yeah, you know how it goes. So this is a wonderful kind of in the middle. I mean, if you do snag this, if you're able to find it, you're looking at what, $100 usually, kind of somewhere around there. But yeah, so really, I mean, kind of widely known as being a really high quality bottle. So your guess is like, wow, this guy's kind of, putting out for me a little bit. So
Yeah, full of flavor, not a ton of proof.
sure,
But-
Stung at Scary Wade's bottle. I mean, it's what, 100 proof?
Yeah.
I mean, really cool display, if you will, I guess, with the tube. I kind of like that. Just
Yeah.
something different. Only Colonel does that. So
Well, we talked about Booker's, and that can run pretty hot, to where this one much more approachable.
sure. So the Colonel E.H. Taylor to impress my kind of knows bourbon guest.
Kind of Nisberg, yeah.
Yeah. And that brings us to our 5th and final category. Take it away.
All right. So the next one is the special occasion one. This is the one to where you kind of flex a little bit, but ultimately this is just for you,
Yeah.
right? Like this is, you could be alone, maybe you're with a significant other, it's Christmas, it's your birthday, you had a good hump day, special occasion.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, it's really what you want to make it. So we put this on the channel a few different times now at this point as well. The Weller 107, quite possibly my favorite bourbon in the world. I've only gotten a chance to snag a few of these over the years.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, man, when you get that promotion, when you get engaged or whatever it may be, that's probably a fitting occasion for a bottle of this caliber.
Well, and I feel like it's almost widely accepted as probably the #1 Weller, even with the foolproof there. price even taken into consideration, it's far above the CYPB.
Sure.
So yeah, tough to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is the cigar batches.
Okay.
When it comes to the special occasions, I'm always going to have a cigar. We had a cigar for my birthday a few days ago. We busted out the Magnus. Just came into the Old Elk Island blend. If you all have not seen this yet, I definitely want to get this on the channel soon, but it is finished in port, Sauternes, sherry, and rum barrels. I totally butchered the second one, so we'll see who
It sounded good.
comments.
Sounded good.
This Old Elk is a different batch, so definitely pick up the new one. The Magnus one, pretty expensive, but ultimately this is a special occasion.
Right.
So when you're talking about you having your kid, once again, just a good hump day maybe.
Yeah.
You just need to
Even
celebrate.
just regular Tuesday night. Yeah.
You gotta celebrate.
Had a normal day of work.
So mine's gonna be more promoting the cigar batch. I like this kind of genre, if you will, that's coming out.
Niche maybe.
But mine's gonna be more the celebratory cigar and nice pairing.
The pairing. Okay.
Give
Good
me
for
the
you.
pairing.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
So take that for what it is.
Yeah.
Did we give them more than 5?
We cheated for sure.
I mean, it's seasonal.
It's seasonal.
I feel like our channel may be one of the only ones that speak to seasons to where that greatly dictates what I'm in the mood for.
Exactly. Especially in the Midwest, which you and I are in, where you get the absolute polar opposites in terms of 100-degree summer, 10-degree winter. You get all of it.
You get a full bipolar Mother Nature.
Sure.
So here we are. Well, anyways, hope this helps with the 2023 update. Hopefully there were some different bottles in here. Comment below what you guys would do to impress your guest. Since you're our guest, like, subscribe.
Thank you for that. Cool, man.
Why not?
To you guys.
Appreciate the pour.
To you, man. Happy birthday, belated.
Thanks for showing up.